Hi, everyone. I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop, and welcome to my Weather, Sky, and Garden YouTube page. And today I'm going to break this down into two different areas, two parts. Part one will be about the weather, and part two about the sky. We're going to hold off on the garden for now because things are really quiet outside. The garden is asleep. But anyway, in the weather, we're looking at this snowstorm that is developing across the southern portion of the country. It could be affecting portions of Georgia and South Carolina come Friday and Saturday. And up in the sky, the planets are aligning and they're all lined up, and there's a galaxy to view as well. So with that being said, let's go into the maps. And first of all, a lot of winter warnings are in effect. Look at the advisories right now. A lot of winter storm watches and warnings. The pink area here is winter storm warnings. That's for eastern and northeastern Texas into northern Louisiana, extreme northern Louisiana, a large portion of Arkansas, into western Kentucky, into western Tennessee, and into the northern portions of Mississippi, with a winter storm watch in effect for the northern portions of Alabama into the northern portions of Georgia, and that includes the Atlanta and the Athens area, and just to the north of the Augusta region, basically almost north or around Interstate 20 and northward. The possibility of winter weather conditions moving into that area for Friday night and Saturday, and then advancing into North Carolina and into Virginia and West Virginia. And once again, Kentucky looks like they're going to be getting more snow, about 2 to 3 more inches of snow in that area. Tennessee might get even more than that. We're looking at potential 4 to 8 inches in portions of Tennessee. All right, let's go to the weather maps right now and take a look at what's going on. And first of all, this is from the Global Forecast System, the United States model. And there's that system developing over in the western Gulf of Mexico. This is right now. And then as we go into advance into the future, that storm gets picking up a little bit more organization. And this is for sunrise on Friday. So things on Thursday, relatively quiet, but there you can see on Friday a large band of snow developing off to the north of that system and extending a little bit more toward the east. Now, south of the center of the low itself, warmer air is being pulled into that system out of the Gulf of Mexico, and that's going to keep a lot of areas south of this center of the low in the form of rain. Now, moving advance into the future with this model here, it shows a band of freezing precipitation across the northern portions of Georgia into northwest South and northern South Carolina, and this is for the end of the day on Friday, at sunset on Friday. And there's a swath of snow extending northward all the way up through Michigan into portions of Ontario, Canada with this system. So, already Missouri and Illinois, Indiana, and Ohio are hit with heavy snow, along with Kentucky over the last couple of days. And now more snow is on the way for them, but it will be snow and not the freezing rain. Let's take a look at the other models and so forth. First of all, let's take a little bit closer look at the southeast. And after all, that's where I am, and we are. Most of my viewers are watching from this area here. And there you can see the swath of precipitation, possibility of mixed precipitation, frozen precipitation across the northern portions of Georgia and into South Carolina, with snow across a large portion of Tennessee and all of Kentucky. We're going to look at snow depths in a minute. But I want to look at something else, too, the other models. The Canadian model, which is a pretty good model, has that system basically a little bit further south. It has a band of freezing precipitation, sleet, and freezing rain across areas just between Interstate 16 and Interstate 20, so just north of Interstate 16 across into central Georgia, and then snow across the northern portions of Georgia going into this time frame here. This is at 1 o'clock Friday afternoon, and then it turns all over into rain as it goes to the afternoon, except across extreme north Georgia, where remains frozen precipitation there, freezing rain and sleet, and then snow across the extreme northern portions of Georgia, and then all of North Carolina mountain areas will be getting moderate to heavy snow out of that system there, with the other snow effects over into the Kentucky area. Now let's take a look at the ECMWF. Actually, I'll have to change models here. Before we do that, let's go to ECMWF right here. And this model here is the NCMWF, ECMWF, the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast. And this is forecast for the ice potential that could develop out of this system based on the European model, and it shows possibility of freezing rain across portions of central Georgia, from north of Atlanta, north of near the Athens area, and then stretching across the north portion of South Carolina into eastern North Carolina. That's freezing rain. What about the U.S. model, the global forecast system? Basically the same thing, everything north of the Atlanta area. Maybe it's a little bit further south, showing potential for the freezing rain there. Freezing rain is worse than snow because it accumulates on the power lines and the trees and then bears down a lot of weight across the bearing of the trees and so forth, and that brings the trees down. If there's any kind of wind whatsoever, that'll bring the tree limbs down and results in power outages. Meanwhile, it's about what about the Canadian model right over here? And it shows about the same thing, a band of freezing rain and ice across a large portion of the path of the storm that could be flowing across mid to upper Georgia and central and northern South Carolina into central and eastern North Carolina. All right, what about the snow effect? Let's switch over to snow. Is this one here? Yeah, have it for here. The GFS shows the potential for snow north of that freezing rain sleet line across the northern portions of Georgia, with a swath of snow of about 4 to 6 inches or more into a large portion of Tennessee and into the mountains of North Carolina. About a half a foot of snow, but 3 to 4 inches, 5 inches of snow possibility out there. Looking at the ECMWF, it basically it's the same. It has moderate to heavy snow across portions of Arkansas, over in northern Mississippi, and northwest portions of Alabama. And this is for the total accumulation of amounts as of Sunday sunrise. So most of this will be falling Friday night and throughout the day on Saturday. Notice the southern Georgia is all clear. It's from frozen precipitation. It'll be rain that's falling across our area, a cold rain at that. And what about the Canadian model? It shows about the same thing, I think. A little bit further north, has most of the snow further off to the north of our area. All right. So with that being said, let's take a look at the temperatures that are going to be flowing across the region. We're in our winter right now, and basically we're going to be having winter conditions across the southeast United States for the next 10 to 15, maybe even 20 days of below normal temperatures or near normal temperatures. Normal high for this time of the year is right around 60, upper 50s inland, lows in the upper 30s to lower 40s. We're going to be below that. And several nights for the next several nights will be in the mid-20s across a large swath of our area. But as you can see, most of the country is going to be below freezing, and a swath of area around the Ohio River where they have that deep snow cover right now, they'll be flirting with the 0-degree temperature readings out there. All right, what about closer to home? Let's take a look at the conditions for tonight here in southeast Georgia and southern South Carolina. Temperatures are going to be dropping down into the mid-20s inland to the upper 20s, even in the coastal areas. Savannah, 28 degrees. This morning here in the Heavenly Backyard Garden, I had 29 degrees. I expect it to be a little bit colder for tonight. So it's right about 28 degrees as well here in my garden. And what about the next night? Let's take a look. This is for Wednesday night, Thursday morning. Thursday night, Friday morning, about the same, maybe a 1 or 2 degrees, 3-degree rise in temperatures, but still below freezing. I consider dripping those pipes once again. And then we warm up as that system approaches in with the snow and ice possibility for the greater Atlanta area and Athens and off to the northwest. They'll be still in the lower 30s, upper 20s, but we'll be warming into the upper 30s, lower 40s by daybreak, and then in the 50s during the afternoon hours. This will be on Saturday, and then going into Saturday night, Sunday morning, back to cold air again. Temperatures dropping down into the mid-20s inland to the lower 20s in the Atlanta area. Rome about 15 degrees or so. Very cold up in northwestern Georgia after the snow and ice accumulates out there. 29 degrees again in Savannah. Same about Hilton Head, 30 degrees there. And then how about the next couple of nights? Warming up a little bit, but still cold. Normal low in Savannah is 40 degrees, and there's 33, so that's 77 degrees below the normal for this time of the year. And I think I got one more night going into Monday night, Tuesday morning, right around the freezing mark in the coastal areas, just below freezing over the inland area. So yeah, several nights of sub-freezing weather conditions in and across our area. And to look at the my webpage, savannahpat.name, there's the forecast calling for temperatures to be rather cold in the mid-20s for the low, upper 40s for the high for tomorrow. Then in the middle 50s on Friday, then the middle 50s on Saturday, but then the rain ending Saturday and clearing off Saturday night with temperatures dropping again back into the upper 20s. And then we should see fair to partly cloudy weather conditions and cold temperatures continuing, maybe a little day flirting with 60 degrees on Monday of next week, but back into the middle 50s for the high and low middle night or 20s to upper 20s for the lows. Tuesday going into Wednesday. And again, the 6-week outlook calling for temperatures to average to below normal through the 22nd, possibility throughout the rest of the month of January. Temperatures will continue to average below the normal. Then as February comes in, it looks like conditions will be warming up a little bit. Well, the normal high starts to warm up anyway as our days get longer, but the conditions show that we might see temperatures in the 60s and perhaps even 70s by then. But there's an old saying that as the days get longer, the nights get colder. And this morning, by the way, was the earliest the sunrise for the year, excluding daylight saving time. The sun rose this morning at 7:26 in Savannah, and now it's going to start rising a little bit earlier each morning by a couple of seconds only. Now the sun is setting about a minute later each evening, but rising just a couple seconds now or earlier each morning until about the end of the month, and it'll start rising about a minute earlier each day. By the way, in case you're wondering, then daylight saving time at the end of October this year, it's going to be the changeover will be Halloween night, October 31st, November 1st, will be Saturday, Sunday. The sunrise at 7:42 Eastern Daylight Time. And we don't know yet if we're going to be switching back and forth from Daylight Saving Time to Eastern Standard Time. That's up to Congress. Once Congress decides, then Georgia has the option of going either staying on Daylight Saving Time all year round or Eastern Standard Time all year round. What do you think about that? What do you think? Do you think we should stay on Daylight Saving Time all the time or Eastern Standard Time, or do you like switching back and forth on the clocks on the springtime, spring forward, and the fall time, fall back? What's your point of view on that? Leave your comments below. All right, now the sky is clear, and so the sky at night is clear too, and there's so many beautiful objects to look at the sky at night. And coming up will be the alignment of the planets. You'll be able to see just about all of the planets with the view. However, you'll need a telescope to see Uranus and Neptune, and they just look like little dots up in the sky. But Venus and Jupiter and Mars will be very dominant up in the sky over the next several nights. And if you look at Venus, that's the very bright star in the southwestern sky. And on the 17th and 18th, it'll be right next to the planet Saturn right here. And let's bring that up into the date. You can see how Venus and Saturn will be getting closer and closer to each other up in the sky in appearance. Saturn's going to be almost a billion miles further away, but they'll appear up in the sky. But Saturn is not very bright at all right now. And Venus will continue to dominate the western, southwestern sky for the next several weeks. Meanwhile, you got this, the fourth brightest object in the sky is the planet Jupiter. Now, if you look at Jupiter through a telescope, you can see the banding of the clouds. And if you watch it over time, you can see how fast this planet is rotating. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. If you just took all the other planets in the solar system and combined them together, you wouldn't equal Jupiter. As a matter of fact, that giant red spot on Jupiter, you could fit, if you could fit 2 Earths inside of it. It's kind of like a massive hurricane ongoing for the last over 300 years on the planet Jupiter. But I took a picture every minute on this view here. You can see how it rotates. And Earth rotates in 24 hours, actually 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 4 seconds. But Jupiter rotates in just less than 10 hours. So it's a very fast rotating planet. Meanwhile, Mars is that bright red planet up in the eastern sky right now. It reaches opposition on the 15th, but during this cycle of oppositions, and it reaches oppositions about every 2.2 years. Opposition means it's right closest to the Earth, basically. And it'll be about 59 million miles away. It sounds a little close astronomically wise, but in the year 2020, when it was at opposition in October, it was 39 million miles away. Much, much closer. You can see the difference trying to take pictures of Mars now versus Mars in 2020. Mars was much easier to photograph in 2020, but this year it's not so close. It won't be as close again until in the 2030s. So Mars is not the greatest object appearance in the sky right now. Now, up in the northern sky over here, let's see if we can get the northern sky. You have the thing called the Big Dipper, and let me bring on the constellation lines over here. You have the Big Dipper somewhere up in the sky here, right there. There's the Big Dipper. Now, in this area right here, the tail of the Big Dipper, just to the lower portion of that tail, there is a galaxy that is about 23 million light years away. I took a picture of that this morning in the Heavenly Backyard Garden. That is the Whirlpool Galaxy. And it's also known as the question mark galaxy, but it looks like a whirlpool. But anyway, it is near the bright star Alkaid in the tip of the tail of the Big Dipper. So if you look up in the sky and you see the Big Dipper, note that you're looking at a galaxy with about 500 billion stars in it, just in that area there. You need a telescope to see it, but this is what it looked like through the 5-inch telescope that I have in the Heavenly Backyard Garden. Well, clear skies, more cold nights on the way, and as the days grow longer, the nights grow colder. That's the old saying, and it's true right now. The next 15 to 20 nights will be our winter, with many of those nights in the mid to upper 20s and lower 30s. It would be a good idea to continue to drip those pipes. You don't want any of your pipes to be freezing. And also, if you have pets, watch out for the pets and make sure that they're kept warm. If you can bring them inside, bring them inside. And don't forget that at these temperatures, their water bowls will freeze, and they need water as well. So make sure they have fresh, liquid water and make sure that they're kept warm as well. And check on your neighbors if you have the opportunity. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'll keep you posted about this winter storm, but right now it's just rain for the Savannah area and Statesboro over in toward Hilton Head and Bluffton, and further south, obviously just rain. It might be a cold rain at that, but about 1/4 of an inch, maybe a 1/2 inch. Thanks to all those who have been supporting my page, and I'll see you later. Bye.